at the Stroh Center here on the campus of Bowling Green State University, as the Bowling Green Falcons and the Cleveland State Vikings will play the final match of the Hampton and Bowling Green Invitational. Both teams coming in 2-0 with a record, and we're going to listen to the national anthem as we get a rise. We'll be right back with more Bowling Green volleyball. And welcome back out here, Bill Frack Court, as starting lineups will be given shortly. And the Vikings will get their lineup announced. We're going to get Zach, go ahead and take those lineups. Right, but let's talk a little bit here about Bowling Green football. Bowling Green football trailing 52-0 against Kansas State in Kansas. I forgot where this in Manhattan, Kansas. As the Falcons and back to volleyball here, about Falcons and the Vikings coming in both, like I mentioned before, 2-0 in the tournament. So the winner of this game will win the tournament. The last game between Charlotte and Butler, Charlotte came up on top, winning the match 3-1, 3-1. As the Bowling Green Falcon lineup is getting announced. Zach, take it away for the Cleveland State Vikings.
All right, for these Cleveland State Vikings, starting off, number 4, the middle hitter, the junior, Hannah Green. You also have number 6, the sophomore setter, Christina Grecol. You have the offensive hitter, the junior, number 10, Emily DeGeorge. You also have the offensive hitter, sophomore, number 12, London Portis. You have number 16, Kiana Avery, the freshman offensive hitter. You have Trinity Hall, the middle hitter, senior, number 23. And, of course, the libero, number 18, Lindsay Tout. She is the sophomore. And these Cleveland State Vikings
are coached by none other than his 20th season at the helm of the Vikings, who come in with an 0-3 record before the tournament, so now they're 2-3, is Chuck Voss, assisted by Mark Hardaway and Kelly Svoboda, both in their second and third season respectively. Outside hitters can be seen as Greco. I had the privilege of going to Cleveland State last year for the Cleveland State Invitational, traveling with the Falcons. And Falcons, of course, in that match, had lost, heading into that match, they lost 6 straight sets. They fall in the first 2 sets of that match. And then a locker room adjustment, 3 straight set wins for the Falcons as they pulled up the come-from-behind victory last year, 3-2 over the Vikings. And now getting into the Falcon lineup, starting it off, the senior setter, number 3, Isabel Marciniak, who stands at 5'10". Also starting the freshman, the outside hitter, the 6-foot freshman, Petra Indrova, who's been a bright spot here for the Falcons earlier on in the season. Also starting true freshman, number 7, Lexi Sauber, the middle blocker, standing 6 foot tall. Starting Paulina Acabelli, the senior defensive specialist at 5'9". You have number 17 for the Falcons, Katie Kidwell, the 6-foot junior middle blocker, as well as number 18, outside hitter junior as well, 6'1", standing is Jacqueline Askin. And your libero today for the Falcons is a 5'2" sophomore, Julia Walls. And of course the Falcons led by head coach Daniela Tomic in her 8th season. Alex Del Piombo in her first season as associate head coach, her fourth season with the Falcons, and Allison Cook in her third season as an assistant coach. As we're getting ready to get underway here at Bill Frack Court here at the Stroh Center in Bowling Green, Ohio, on the campus of Bowling Green State University. I gotta say, a lot of theirs there. As, again, the Falcons going with Marciniak, Androva, Sauber, Acabelli, Walls, Kidwell, and Askin. Cleveland State going with Green, Grekel, DeGeorge, Portis, Avery, Tout, and Hall. Tout, of course, being the libero today. I had the privilege. She was a bright spot last year for Cleveland State at their Invitational. She was in the all-invitational team, I believe. As rotating in is Walls for Kidwell. So that would mean Cleveland State will be back to serve, I'm guessing. Or Bowling Green will serve first in Paulina Acabelli.
And it's going to be a pretty good game here today, Chip. We saw both these teams put up great victories yesterday. Cleveland State, of course, beating both Butler and the 49ers of Charlotte yesterday. And these Falcons beating Butler last night as we rose the banner, and also beating the Charlotte 49ers. So neither team is a pushover, so we're in for some great volleyball here today.
Yeah, so Cleveland State won their first match 3-2 over Butler and won 3-0 over Charlotte. And BG will get the first point on a service ace by Paulina Acabelli. So Cleveland State went to 5 sets with Butler, swept Charlotte, while Bowling Green swept Charlotte and went to 4 sets with Butler. Meanwhile, we're underway for the second point. It'll be dug out there by Marciniak, set up by Walls, over 2. I believe that's Askin for the kill attempt. It'll be set over by the Vikings, and it'll be way too far. 2-0 Falcons lead here early in the first set.
Just a little bit too much heat on that one. Cleveland State just trying to find a little bit of momentum here against these Falcons.
And dug out there by DeGeorge for the Vikings. Blocked to the net by Askin and Sauber, and it'll be sent over, dug out by Walls. Set up Marciniak over to Androva for the kill, and it's going to be tipped at the net, out of bounds. Falcons 3-0 lead here early.
And the big story from yesterday was, of course, the errors, but also Petra Androva. Petra Androva laid down quite a few kills yesterday.
And that'll be Askin with the, tried to get that kill as she tried to slam it down. It'll be an attack error there by Cleveland State's number 4, Hannah Green, the 6'1 junior, and it's going to be a quick timeout called. 4-0 Falcons here early.
The Falcons yesterday, going back to the last game they played last night at about 7 o'clock against the Butler Bulldogs. After going down that first set, they went on a 9-2 run on the first set and ended up sweeping Butler's final 3 sets to win that 4 sets, and they've come out strong as if they didn't even need to sleep overnight and they just could have kept going. I
would piggyback that comment there. Falcons are known to be a streaky team. They win 2 games and they lose 2 games. They win 2 games, they lose 2 games. They're known for being streaky, and I think that's something that Coach Tomish has worked on in the offseason over the summer, is to stay more consistent. I think the Falcons have stayed consistent this year. They haven't lost by double digits in a set. I believe the only time they did that was against Notre Dame. Of course, Notre Dame being a Power 5 school. Of course, the Falcons did play a Big Ten opponent last year, and Illinois got swept. So the Falcons did improve on that aspect as they got 1 set victory in the Notre Dame Invitational against Notre Dame. Meanwhile, we're back out here as Acabelli will still be serving with 1 service ace in the bag. She's looking for another one. Of course, Falcons hitting 333 as Acabelli's serve will hit the net. It'll be a service error on Acabelli. I think I cursed it.
Maybe just a little bit, Chip. I mean, when you have such consistency, every once in a while you're going to make a mistake, and it's just a matter of not making the same mistake twice.
Meanwhile, back to serve is the libero for Cleveland State, and Tout will get it over. Drove for the kill, and she's 2 for 2 here early, and the Falcons regain their 4-point lead. As quite a crowd has showed up here for the Falcons. Julia Walls back to serve for the Falcons on the side out. And she gets it over. Diving save there by Tout. And it'll be sent over. Falcons keep it alive, send it over for a free play. It'll be set up by Greco, and it'll be out of play. Falcons up by 5, 6-1 score here early in set number 1.
And Cleveland State just hasn't looked in sync at all. You see maybe just a little bit of a lack of communication from these Vikings, whereas it's all smiles on the Bowling Green side.
And Walls' serve gets over the net. Set up there by Greco. Over to, I believe that was Avery, and her kill attempt, or her attack attempt will go out of play. Falcons really getting it done here early, capitalizing on the errors by the Vikings.
And it's all about not shooting yourselves in the foot, and so far Cleveland State has done nothing but that.
Meanwhile, Katie Jorn checks in for Cleveland State as DeGeorge will come out, and it'll be a point for Cleveland State there as it was tipped at the net and out of play. Falcons still up by 5, 7-2 here early in set number 1. Back to serve for Cleveland State, Aubrey McConaughey. It'll be set up by Marciniak for Askin. Askin's going to get this dug out there by McConaughey. Sent over, diving save there by Marciniak. Walls to set, over to Askin for the kill attempt. Dug out there by Libero. Joust at the net. Won by Cleveland State. Bowling Green keeps it alive and Askin on the far side. It'll be blocked, tipped to the net. Saved by Walls to Askin. Askin with the kill attempt, sent over. Deception move, long point here. Walls going to set up Indrova for the power kill, and she's going to go way too far. Cleveland State gets the big point. That could be a momentum changer.
And it's all about streaks, of course, as we mentioned. Going back to the Golden Dome Invitational last week, there was plenty of times where Bowling Green was just going on runs, and it was broken up by a couple of points, so maybe that's just what we're seeing here.
Walls the dig off the serve. To Indrova for the kill. It'll be sent right over. Kidwell tries to get the slam dunk kill. Askin, and it's going to be right through the block of Askin and Kidwell. Killed there by Trinity Hall, the middle hitter senior out of Orrville, Ohio. Cleveland State down by 3. Back to serve is McConaughey. McConaughey's serve will go up. Walls to get it. Set Marciniak over to Indrova for the power attempt, and she's going to get it. Indrova now 3 for 5. Her hitting percentage at .400. And Kirsty Shaw will check in to serve for the Falcons. Out comes Indrova on the side out.
And the other thing that we mentioned is it's all about not shooting yourselves in the foot. 4 attackers already by these Cleveland State Vikings to just the 1 by Bowling Green.
And that serve will get over the net. Shaw. And it'll be set up for Cleveland State's number 16. In Avery, blocked the net by Marciniak. It'll be tipped over, saved by Akibelli over to Askin for the tip. And that's going to be, looked like a double hit to me, but it'll be sent over for free play. Shaw to Marciniak, over to Kidwell in the middle. It'll be dug out there by McConaughey. Over to Avery, and she's going to get it down for the Cleveland State Vikings point. 8-5 now in favor of the Falcons.
And Marciniak just got enough of that just to block it at the net and send it up, but unfortunately no Falcon was there.
Back to serve now for Cleveland State. Checking in on the side out is Julia Piccolino. And the serve by her is going to get off. It's going to go over. Miscommunication there. It's going to be a service ace as Shaw and Walls didn't talk it out, as it'll be a service ace. Cleveland State now only trails by 2.
Both teams are now tied up in their service aces.
Another serve coming from Piccolino. Shaw this time mishandedly does it, and it'll be in 2 straight service aces. 8-7. Cleveland State's back in it.
And just looking at this serve, it's just enough at the point where it's just getting over the net and making it a little bit difficult for these Bowling Green defenders that dig it out.
Back to serve again is Julia Piccolino. And that's going to go out, service error. So 2 service aces followed by a service error. Falcons coming back on the side out. In to check in for the first time is sophomore Caitlin Meyer, named to the All-MAC freshman team last year. Finished 2nd in voting in the MAC player in the freshman of the year, behind Miami of Ohio player I can't remember. And it'll be served up. It'll be sent over. It'll be tipped to the net, blocked. Shaw with the dig. Marciniak to Meyer. Meyer for the kill attempt. Can't get it to go. Now it's set up for DeGeorge. DeGeorge for the tip. Shaw with the dig. Set Marciniak over back to Caitlin Meyer for the kill. Dug out there by Piccolino. That'll be Doug. It'll be Marciniak to Meyer on the kill attempt. A little miscommunication there, but the Falcons will get the point.
Just grazed off of there.
It just, go for it.
just grazed off of there by the libero Lindsay Toot. Just right off her arm as she tried to just keep that ball in play.
Yeah, Lindsay Tout so far, Lindsay Tout has 2 digs so far. McConaughey leading the team with 4. Meanwhile, Meyer's going to go for the soft kill attempt, dug out there by DeGeorge. DeGeorge now tries for the slam. Shaw not having a good day, as that's 3 errors on her end. And coming in will be Taylor Haberland for, I believe that's Akebeli. To serve is Hall for Cleveland State. Shaw, Marciniak to Kidwell, way too hard. 10-9 Falcons. Cleveland State's right back in it.
Just a little bit too much heat on there by Katie Kidwell, and you see Marciniak just goes over, tells her, it's all right, just relax just a little bit.
And Hall's serve again. Well, Walls mishandled it. Another service ace. Would not surprise me if Tomic stops and calls a timeout. She won't. She's trying to talk to Julia. And we're tied at 10. Cleveland State's come back to tie it. Hall, Shaw, Marciniak, deception move. Saved there by Cleveland State. It's going to be 4 touches, but they're going to say good. Haberlin, Marciniak to Meyer. It's going to go out. But the Falcons say it was a tip. Tomic says no, it wasn't a tip. And Cleveland State with their first lead of the night. 11-10 Cleveland State. Falcons hitting 0%. It'll be diving save there by Shaw, but it's a service ace for Hall. The 3rd service ace for the Cleveland State Vikings, as they're now up by 2.
And after that 4-0 start by the Falcons, it's been all Vikings ever since.
Shaw, Marciniak to Meyer. Meyer slams it home.
And maybe that's the rally starter that they were looking for.
Caitlin Meyer, very energetic. Lexi Sauber checking in on the side out, as Walls will take his trip to the bench as the libero. Katie Kidwell back to serve. Kidwell serve gets over, dug out there. Low dig set up. It'll be tipped in the net, blocked by Androva, or blocked by Marciniak and Sauber, and BG gets the point. We're tied up at 12.
Good defense leads to better offense is the theme that I like to incorporate when it comes to volleyball, as it is a true team sport, and they're just feeding off of it.
Yeah, they are. Kidwell's serve will go, it wasn't going to go out, but saved. It'll be a kill attempt, and down it goes. The middle blocker for Cleveland State in Hannah Green. 6'1" junior out of McDonald, Pennsylvania, Fort Cherry High School. And Cleveland State regains a 1-point lead. Falcons coming in 3-2 on the season. Vikings 2-3. Low serve, Haberlin diving save. Marciniak's deception move. Can't get it to go. Sent over for a free play. Shaw, Marciniak, Sauber calling for it. She's going to give it to Meyer instead. Dug out there by Tout. Tout on the outside. Hall is going to go way out of play. Falcons point, tie game.
And maybe that's all you need, is to get back to the point where Cleveland State's making their own silly mistakes and silly errors. They're beating us as in terms of errors, as they have 6 total errors to our 4.
Marciniak back to serve for the Falcons. Androva checked in, and that ball's going to get barely over the net. Down it goes for Cleveland State as they regain their lead on the Hannah Green's kill.
Nice close game here.
Yeah, very close game. This was a close game last year. I have to go through the stats and look at how close it was last year, but I would agree this is going to be a close game. I could see this going 4 or 5 sets.
Absolutely.
Serves off. Meyer with the dig. Marciniak back to Meyer for the kill, and she's not going to get it. Dug out there by DeGeorge. Sent over for a free play. Walls to Marciniak. Sauber calling for it. This time Sauber's going to get it, and she whiffs, but it goes down. Falcons get the point. Askin and Akebeli will come back in for Meyer and Haberland. Akebeli on the to serve on the side out.
Just a little bit of momentum needs to go Bowling Green's way here, and I think that's the big theme here, bringing Askin back into the game.
Akebeli now serves. She's going to get it up. It's going to stay in play to George. And it's going to be hit over, tipped to the net, blocked by the Falcons. Marciniak, Walls, and it's going to be Askin on the far side. Set up there by Jorn. Diving save, and it's going to go diving play by Petra Androva to keep it alive. Marciniak to Meyer, to Askin, and she's going to get it off the block. Falcons take the lead.
On her knees back here in the court, Androva dives, keeps that ball alive, and gives the Falcons the point. Huge momentum boost there by the freshman, Petra Androva.
Falcons have a lot of momentum now. Crowd behind them. Akibele's serve will go a little too far, but it kept in play. Blocked to the net. Sauber and Askin. And Androva with the put-down dunk slam kill.
And you gotta love this enthusiasm out of the freshman. Comes into the game, just puts a little bit of offensive power into the defense, and the defense led to better offense.
And we're going to get a coach's challenge here, it looks like. Cleveland State has challenges, so let's take a look at the stats here so far. Zach, take it away.
So, 16 points for Bowling Green so far in the match, as it is a 16-14 game. 7 total kills by Bowling Green to Cleveland State's 6. However, the big story is all about the errors. Cleveland State has 7 attack errors to Bowling Green's 3, and they are tied as in terms of service errors with 1. 32 total attack attempts by Cleveland State, though. So you see there's not much in terms of offensive power by Cleveland State, as they are at a negative .031 hitting percentage, whereas Bowling Green sitting at a .143. And of course, 4 service aces for these Cleveland State Vikings to just the 1 by the Bowling Green Falcons.
Also to note, Marciniak does lead the team, leads the Falcons with 5 digs, normally something you don't see. Marciniak also with 7 assists. So right now, Marciniak looking like if she keeps up this pace, she'll get a double-double easily. Right now, Walls, the libero, with 3 digs. Reset the court here for the Falcons. You have Walls, Marciniak, Akibele, Sauber, Askin, and Androva. And then for the Cleveland State Vikings, you have Green, Grekel, Portis, Avery, Tout, and DeGeorge. And it'll be misplayed there on the 3rd hit. Mistimed the jump. Falcons get the point, 17-14 on the attack error by Portis.
Went for a soft touch there, but just not enough underneath it, and it just hits the net.
And there's serves up. It'll be out of play on the attack error by Cleveland State's Hannah Green. I believe that's her 3rd or 4th attack error. Another timeout. Cleveland State has 18-14 Falcons.
That's a little bit of a risky play there by the Cleveland State Vikings head coach, taking that 2nd timeout. It's only a 4-point game. It's 18-14 for the Falcons. And there's still plenty of volleyball left to be played in this set.
Yes, and crowd, of course, getting behind the Falcons here. Couple BGSU chants. Of course, this being a neutral site game, BG, of course, has the home, quote-unquote, home court advantage at Bill Frack Court here at the Stroh Center. As the Falcons will break their huddle. Something I just want to highlight, Petra Androva has been a quite surprise this season for the Falcons so far. Not just her, but also all the freshmen in Lubke, Sauber, and even Torres. Yelines Torres has been a quite surprise for the Falcons, the 4 freshmen that they brought in.
I would have to agree with you, and it's an immediate impact for some of these players. As we see Sauber out there on the court now, we see Petra Androva out there on the court. It's just been quite a good job for these Bowling Green Falcons, as in terms of scouting and getting these players to come here. A MAC school is not exactly a big place for recruits wanting to go, as you want to see them, as most recruits want to go to the bigger schools like Alabama or Ohio State.
It's Big Ten is the big
volleyball. Big one, absolutely. But great job there by this staff getting these players in here, and this immediate impact, of course, is huge.
As the buzzers back up, Falcons, Akibele, no subs from that timeout. Akibele's serve will go right down Broadway and slammed home by Sauber. Good heads-up play. Falcons 19-14, almost to the red zone.
Just trying to get that ball over the net. On the dig by Lindsay Tout. Just sent back by Sauber.
Akibele serve. It'll be attack, blocked to the net, hits Sauber and goes down. Cleveland State gets the point.
But the one thing to mention, all the momentum is with Bowling Green right now.
Falcons looking for a side out, trying to get in back into the red zone. Back to serve for Cleveland State, Lindsay Tout. Ball Walls to Akibeli. Stays in play. Sent over by Akibeli. Back in. That was Askin on the dig. Be sent over. Marciniak diving stop. Walls over to Askin for a kill attempt. Get it soft and it may drop in. Tout. And it's going to be sent over for a free play for the Falcons. Akibeli. Marciniak over to Androva for the power. And it's going to say in play as that was close. And they're going to say it was tipped at the net. And they're going to do a substitution here for Cleveland State. In is Lydia Latimer. Out is Kiana Avery. So Vikings going in with a little younger lineup. Lydia Latimer, freshman out of Warren, PA. Walls back to serve. Falcons in the red zone. And that ball will go out. Cleveland State gets the point on the service error.
And Tout went to go and try to dig that one out, but she realized that it was going out, so she let it go.
Into serve for Cleveland State, Aubrey McConaughey, the 5'1 freshman defensive specialist out of Amherst, Ohio. Not too far, of course, being in Ohio. I don't know how far away from Bowling Green it is. And that ball's Walls. Marciniak set over to Askin on the far side, blocked the net. Marciniak keeps it alive, though, sends it over. Set up by Cleveland State, tipped at the net. Diving save, Akibeli. Marciniak back to Askin on the far. It'd be short near side. And a diving stop there. Out of play. Falcons get the point on the attack air there by Latimer.
Little too much aggressiveness there for Cleveland State. But the Falcons are just playing the game that they know how to play. And it starts all on defense. Cleveland State has 0 blocks as opposed to the Bowling Green Falcons having 4.
Kershie Shaw checks in on the side out to serve. Shaw's serve dug out there by Cleveland State. Set up there by Greco. Blocked at the net, but it goes down on Bowling Green's side. Cleveland State back within 4, 21-17. Katie Kidwell back in the game for the Falcons. Falcons, no freshmen on the courts right now for them. Cleveland State has 2 freshmen. And that'll be a service error on Julia Piccolino, the 5'9 freshman out of North Versailles, Pennsylvania. Falcons 22-17, 5-point lead.
Important point to make here, Chip, is as close as this game is, Cleveland State has no more timeouts left, so there's no more adjustments that can be made unless a challenge is issued.
And that's going to be diving save there by the setter McGreckle. Dug out Askin over to Meyer. Meyer couldn't get it to go. Set by Greckle. Over to DeGeorge. Blocked to the net by Androva. Or by Marciniak. And Shaw just couldn't get there in time. And looks like Taylor Haberlin will check back in for Askin. On the serve is Trinity Hall, the 5'10 senior for Cleveland State. Shaw to Meyer. Marciniak sends it over for free play. To Greckle. Over, blocked to the net by Meyer and Kidwell. Hall's going to have to get this over. Walls dug it out to Marciniak for the set. Meyer trying to get the kill. Soft kill. Miscommunication there, but they get it over. Tipped at the net. Could have been a double hit there on Kidwell, but nothing called. Myers blocks. And there you go. There's the blocks by Cleveland State. Number 4, Hannah Green leading the way for them. 3-point game.
And that was a big defensive rally there for Cleveland State, something that they really needed as Bowling Green just looked like they were starting to run away with this game.
And service error, Trinity Hall. Falcons 23-19. Serving is Katie Kidwell, the 6-foot junior middle blocker from Watseka, Illinois. Kidwell's serve gets up, set by Greckle over to Green for the slam kill. Gets it to go. Both teams in the red zone. Falcons do lead by 3, 23-20.
And it looks almost as if they're targeting wherever Kirsty Shaw's on the court. She just hasn't been able to get to some of these digs.
And the serve's up by Greckle. Right to Kirsty Shaw. And then it's going to go to Marciniak for the free play. Greckle. And it'll be dug, tipped to the net. And 23-21, they're calling for Petra Indrova to come back on. The Falcons get shut out in football, 52-0. Kansas State Wildcats with the victory. They take Kirsty Shaw out, put Petra Indrova in on the back. They may have her go attack from the back here as Greckel's serve will go Haberland, Marciniak over to Meyer for the kill, and Falcon Faithful will get on their feet. Set point, 24-21.
And great job there by the Falcons. Staying the course, although they looked like they were starting to falter just a little bit, it's getting all back to that leadership.
Izzy Marciniak to serve. Marciniak gets it up. Dug out there, set up by Greckel. Over to 15 for Cleveland State. And that'll be right at us as Zach tried to grab it and I tried to protect him.
Tried to get a little bit on the action here, Chip.
Yeah, Falcons pick up the set one victory, 1-0 as they'll take the lead, 25-21. Any notable stats for us, Zach, before we cut aside?
I think the biggest stat is the attack errors stat. 11 attack errors by Cleveland State. 4 attack errors by the Bowling Green Falcons. And, of course, during service errors, Bowling Green had 3, Cleveland State had 2. It's all about the errors, unfortunately, for these Vikings. So if they're looking to stay alive during these sets, I think it's going to have to start by cleaning those up.
Yes, it will. Looking at some stats here, Hannah Green, though, leading the way for Cleveland State in kills. 3 attack errors, though, so she's the only. Cleveland State hitting percentage is at 0. Falcons hitting 154, led by Petra Androva, but none other than Petra Androva. Katie Meyer with 3, and Lexi Sauber with 2, Askin with 1. So you got 4 Falcons on this kill score, 10 kills, 4 errors, though, for the Falcons. Cleveland State, 11, like you mentioned, 11 kills, 11 errors. Not how you want to start the game, and that's all mental.
Oh, absolutely. And it's going to start by adjustments, and it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments Coach Tomich makes on the Bowling Green side in order to help these Falcons stay on top, and it's going to be interesting to see what Cleveland State does over there to clean up those errors.
Meanwhile, if I'm Cleveland State, I keep going at Kershey Shaw. Kershey Shaw's having some trouble today as Shaw has 3 digs, Marciniak 5 digs, 9 assists. Wall's now leading the team with 6 digs. Tout and McConaughey for Cleveland State have 7 digs for them as well. A couple of freshmen appeared for the Falcons. A bunch of freshmen appeared for Cleveland State after they fell 4-0, called a timeout, then came back and tied it midway through the teens portion of the set.
And no timeouts were used by Bowling Green either. So Coach Tomich was very confident in her team.
Yeah, Tomich is one of those that rarely calls timeouts unless they really need it, and rarely uses that challenge card. And she knows when to use that challenge card. There was an instance where the Falcons on the court thought about having her pull, and Tomich was like, nope, that was tipped. And it just shows Tomich's experience and the trust that her players have in her.
And we saw that a lot last weekend at the Golden Dome Invitational hosted by the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. She won almost every single challenge that she pulled, and she was very selective with the challenge that she did do. So, as you said, Chip, it all goes back to the experience that Coach Tomich has and her ability to help lead these Falcons to victory.
As the Falcons break the huddle, it looks like starting the second set, we'll have Androva, Meyer, Walls, Sauber, Askin, Marciniak, and Kidwell. Walls to rotate in for Kidwell. And then for Cleveland State, you have Latimer getting back on the court with Portis, Hall, DeGeorge, Greckel, Tout, and I believe Avery, and Green. As Jorn is listed as the only setter. Oh, Greckel and George. Greckel did come out in that set as as Jorn picked up some assists. Jorn does have 6 assists to Greckel's 5, but Greckel did start the game not on a strong part. And Bowling Green, I believe, to serve. Or not to serve. Cleveland State to serve with their libero, Lindsey Tout, getting the serve. Does some dribbles. Again, Falcons, if you're just tuning in, Chip Crennan, Zach Smith, 1-0 Falcons lead heading into the second set. And second set, we're underway. Lindsay Tout serve. Meyer to Marciniak to Sauber for the kill. A little too much for the Falcons.
DeGeorge just had to duck out of the way to get away from that one. It was just a little too much by Sauber, as we're going to see Lindsay Tout, the libero, go back to serve yet again. Couple dribbles. Up and over. Dug out by Meyer. Set by Marciniak. Kill by Androva, successful. Gets just out of the reach of number 6, Christina Grekel. And it is all tied up here at the Stroh Center, tied at 1.
Yeah, Androva's just, in my opinion, Androva is just your go-to player for the Falcons.
Absolutely, as Meyer's going to check out in favor of Paulina Icabelli. Up and over. Dug out by DeGeorge. Set. Kill attempt by the Vikings is unsuccessful. Dug out by Marciniak. Up by Walls. Askin. As that one's just going to sail out of bounds, as yet again, Christina Grekel could not dig that out properly. And in baseball, that would have been known as a foul ball. Icabelli back to serve yet again. Up, over, right to DeGeorge. Grekel sets up, kill attempt, dug out by Walls. Marciniak sets it up, just sent over for a free ball by Lexi Sauber. Grekel with another set, over there to Lydia Latimer. Dug out, Askin sent back. Walls set by Marciniak and sent down by Sauber, dug out by Grekel. Kill attempt by the Vikings, dug out, set up by Walls. Askin, nice little soft touch over, but dug out by Lydia Latimer. Kill attempt unsuccessful by the Vikings as Walls digs it out, set by Marciniak. Down to Askin. DeGeorge digs that one out too. Long rally here for the Falcons. Dug out by Icabelli. Sauber sends it down and DeGeorge digs it out. Walls to Marciniak. Marciniak. Petra Androva, just a little too much mustard on that one, but they're going to say it was touched by the Vikings, excuse me. Point Falcons.
Big momentum for the Falcons. That was a rally point. 3-1 Falcons lead.
Icabelli up, over. Dug out by DeGeorge. Grekel sets it up for Latimer, and too much on it as that one's going to sail out of bounds as well. And it is now 3-2 as they're going to say it was tipped by the Falcons. I didn't see much of a tip. It is 4-1 still. Up and over by Icabelli. And they're going to rule
a net violation on Lexi Sauber.
So it's just a little bit of a scoreboard malfunction.
Now it's 4-2.
Now it's 4-2.
Checking in for Cleveland State, Aubrey McConaughey to serve.
McConaughey is going to take a couple dribbles as well. Sent up, over, dug out by Icabelli, up by Marciniak. Sauber blocked at the net. Marciniak up to Walls. Askin tipped at the net, but that's going to go over to reset both sides. Lydia Latimer, the freshman, tries to get it over the net, but right into the net. Of course, the net is not on either team here. The net is just that dividing line, but in that case, I think it had a little bit of orange and brown on it.
Yeah, meanwhile, Kidwell and Sauber replaced, so Walls to serve on the side out, but gets charged with a service error.
And the net, unfortunately, gives a point right back to Cleveland State. So much as we saw to that first set, Chip, it's a close game still, 5-3 Falcons. And, I mean, a lot to see here still from these teams. Back to serve is Julia Piccolino. Couple dribbles herself, up and over. Dug out by Icabelli, up by Askin. Kidwell, dug out by the Vikings. Dug out by Walls as well. And Petra Androva cannot be stopped today. Dug right into the face of Lindsay Tout, the sophomore libero for the Vikings. She just couldn't get on there. It was almost as if a little bit of smoke was coming off that ball, just based off how much was coming off of Androva.
Yes, Androva's serve will get over.
Dug out by Tout. Set by the Vikings. Soft little kill attempt. Saved by Askin. Askin kills herself. Looked like it was sailing out of bounds, but Julia Piccolino just could not resist hitting that one. 7-3 Falcons.
Falcons want this. They're coming out strong, hard, and hard.
Looking to take a 2-0 victory here. Androva up and over. Dug out there by Piccolino. Kill attempt by DeGeorge. Blocked at the net. Kidwell and Marciniak. Saved again. Dug out by Walls. Marciniak sets it up. Askin sends it over the net. Blocked at the net. And Askin will reset. Marciniak. Indrova cannot be stopped. Another hammer.
Indrova wasn't even, Cleveland State didn't even try to block Indrova. They just all stepped back and tried to prepare for the hardness of Indrova's arm.
You got to imagine there's got to be a handprint on that ball. Indrova just lays down a hammer. Indrova back to serve yet again. Up and over. Dug out by Tout, the libero. Set up, kill attempt is unsuccessful as Trinity Hall tried to do that. Katie Kidwell blocked at the net. Askin, not enough on that one. A little bit of a miscommunication there for the Falcons, but still, you got to like what you see out of them so far.
Yes, 8-4 so far. Cleveland State back in the negative hitting percentage.
Trinity
Falcons
Hall,
hitting .222.
up and over. Askin blocked the net. Walls is not able to dig that one out. The libero, Lindsey Tout, is going to check out for the Vikings. I did not see who checked in.
It's on the side out, so Hall to serve.
Up, over, dug out by Walls. Set Marciniak, deception move, back to Hall. Another deception move, little game of deception. Dug out by Walls. Askin sends it over. Dug out by Julia Piccolino. Little battle at the net, won by the Falcons. That's Kidwell and Jacqueline Askin. Point Falcons, 9-5.
As Meyer checking in for Acabelli. This is the dangerous rotation for the Falcons. They got Indrova and Meyer. Meyer was All-MAC first team last year as well.
Askin sent up over. Kill attempt unsuccessful there by Hannah Green of the Vikings. Kidwell tries her own. Tipped at the net. Out of bounds. 10-5 Falcons.
And that's going to be a timeout by Cleveland State. Falcons are doubling up the Vikings.
And I think it's all starting with Petra Indrova. Petra Indrova is having quite a few kills on this game so far.
Petra Indrova is 8 for 10. She has 10 total attacks. 8 of them are kills, 1 air, 2 digs, 700 hitting percentage. I don't think I've seen a stat like that heading in a second set for as many attempts. Askin leading the way with 23 attempts, only 3 kills. But Indrova is Petra Indrova, the story for the team so far this game.
I'd have to agree with you. And typically, from what we've seen so far in the season, it's been Petra Indrova and Caitlin Meyer. Caitlin Meyer, of course, a returning member to this squad, as she is a sophomore. But she's got some power behind her, too, as she and Indrova led the way last week against the Fighting Irish, the Wright State Raiders, and the LaSalle Explorers. And since last night, that first set against the Butler Bulldogs, these Falcons have just been dominant ever since.
Yes, oh yes they have. Trinity Hall is the only bright spot for Cleveland State right now. Is her 4 kills to 1 attack error is the only positive kills to attack errors as a 4-1. So she's the only person in hitting percentage that's over in the positives. Portis and Latimer both in the negatives. Latimer 3 errors on 5 attempts. Portis 3 errors on 8 attempts. Leading the way on digs for Cleveland State. McConaughey with 9. Tout, their libero, with 7. Julie Walls in double digits with 14. Double-double watch Marciniak already at 13 assists and 8 digs. Something to keep an eye on.
Askin's back there to serve. She's joined by Walls, Indrova, Marciniak, Kidwell, who sends it over, and it stays alive. And Meyer's out there on the court. Great defensive play by Cleveland State as they were able to survive the kill attempt by Katie Kidwell and send it back. Askin's going to check in for Taylor Haberlin, is going to check in for Jacqueline Askin.
Yeah, Cleveland State did a good job keeping it alive. They kicked it up. Everyone stopped there, kicked it up, and then, realized that it was still alive. Falcons only up by 4, 10-6.
Katie Jordan, the senior for the Vikings, back to serve, and that's going to go right into the net. Service error for the Vikings. 11-6, Bowling Green.
Yeah, Katie Jordan, the senior, is considered, I'd say, she didn't start the game over, but Greco started the game over her, the 5'8 sophomore. Both of them are listed as setters. Kidwell's serve will go out. Service error on Katie Kidwell.
Just out of reach there. DeGeorge looked like she was going to go after it, but decided not to. However, still 4-point game, 11-7 Falcons here in the Hampton Inn Bowling Green Invitational. Falcons looking to stay undefeated here at home. 1-0 right now. DeGeorge up and over, dug out by Haberlin. Marciniak, deception move.
And
Dug
she'll
out
get
there.
it.
Dug out there by Jorn, but unfortunately went the wrong way. It was supposed to go over the net and went away from the net. That's a point for the Falcons, 12-7, as Isabel Marciniak, the senior, is back there to serve. Marciniak, serve up and over, dug out by Lindsay Tout. Sent over by Lydia Latimer, the freshman, dug out. Walls to Meyer. Meyer got it in right on the corner. And Lindsay Tout's over there saying, my bad. She thought it was going out, but it did not.
13-7 Falcons lead. This could be dangerous for Cleveland State.
Largest lead of the game for the Falcons. Up and over, right to left from your radio dial. Dug out by the Vikings. Kill attempt is unsuccessful by number 12, London Portis of the Vikings, as it sails out of bounds. And yet again, Bowling Green has doubled up the Cleveland State Vikings.
Yeah, and Cleveland State making a plethora of subs. Checking in is Bloomer, Peyton Bloomer, the 6'1 freshman outside hitter from Greytown, Ohio, and Oak Harbor High School. I know, I've heard people say Oak Harbor High School before.
Marciniak up and over, dug out by Lindsay Tout. Set up for Hannah Green, dug out. Kill attempt by Androva. They expected some power, but she shows she's got a little bit of a soft side as it drops just in front of the Vikings. 15-7 and another timeout for the Vikings.
If I'm the Viking coach, I don't know what I'm saying.
I think in a matter of saying it's all about keeping your head in the game. Don't worry about the points on the board right now. Play it as if it's a 0-0 game or a 1-0 game where Bowling Green is only up by a point. Because Cleveland State can rally. This game is not over until a 25 is on that board and they're up by 2. However, it's tough climbing.
I would agree with that. Cleveland State hitting it in the negative attack percentage. Cleveland State has 13 assists to the Falcons, 19. Falcons blocks 6-4 in favor of them. 36 digs for Falcons, 4 aces for the Vikings. That's their only bright spot, I would say, so far. Falcons service errors have 4-1. Cleveland State with 4 aces and 4 errors.
And you wonder if Cleveland State's feeling just a little bit of rust. I mean, I realize that it's 3:30 in the afternoon here on a Saturday, but the last time they played was 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, where they beat Charlotte 49ers 3-0. So maybe they're just feeling a little rust on their legs, as this is the final game of the Hampton Inn Invitational here in Bowling Green.
Yeah. The Falcons just coming out so far as they come out of the huddle 10 seconds early with Sauber, Androva, Meyer, Haberland, Walls, and Marciniak, the setter, back to serve. Cleveland State coach really hammering his team a message, because he knows that if they lose this set, it's going to be hard to battle against this Falcon team who came up last year losing down 2-0. Won 3 straight sets demanding.
You have to win 3 sets to win the match. They're not out of it. They still will get a 3rd set, but it's a lot harder to come back being down 2-0. Marciniak up and over, dug out by Tout, set up for number 15, Peyton Bloomer. Her kill's unsuccessful. Meyer sends it, blocked by Bloomer, and drops right in front of Christina Grekel, the sophomore of the Vikings. 16-7 Falcons as they get closer and closer to that red zone.
Falcons up by 9.
Marciniak looking up and over. And dug out by Tout, kept alive by Green, and just sent over for a free ball. Dug out by Walls, up by Marciniak. Sauber blocked at the net, but keeps it alive. Meyer, Sauber blocked again at the net, dug out by Haberlin. Meyer's gonna try, that's blocked at the net, goes backwards, dug out by George. Kill attempt is unsuccessful as that went into the net. It is point Bowling Green, 17-7.
Latimer not having a good game. That's her 5th error, still with no kills, and she gets pulled to talk to the coach. In for her is Bloomer.
Speaking of coaches, Coach Tomich is nothing but smiles over there on that sideline. Up, over, dug out by Tout. Set up, and a little too much sauce on that one. Hannah Green sends it right over the Falcons' heads as they watch it soar by. 18-7, Bowling Green. Marciniak still back there. Couple dribbles, looks at the ball. Up and over. Saved by Tout right on the line. Great job there by the Falcons. And that kill attempt is successful. And just misplaced there by the Falcons. Lack of communication maybe, or maybe just great spot there by the Vikings, 18-8. Back there to serve is Lindsey Tout, the sophomore libero. Up and over. Dug out by Meyer, set by Marciniak. Deception move. Great job there by Isabel Marciniak, right in front of Christina Greco. They are a point away from the red zone, Chip.
I'm just astonished by how the Falcons are communicating, their teamwork, their communication again, and their want to win. I think they're all smiles right now on the Falcons.
Meyer and Haberlin check out, and one of the players coming in is Icabelli, sending it up and over. Dug out by Tout. Kill attempt by number 16. That's Kiana Avery, unsuccessful, as Askin's kill is also unsuccessful. Dug out by the Vikings, sent over and out of bounds by the Vikings. Point Falcons first to the red zone, 20-8. The other player checking in is Petra Indrova. We've said her name plenty of times so far. Icabelli up and over. Dug out by DeGeorge, sent up. Dug out by Icabelli. That one just sails out of bounds. I looked to bounce right off her face and out of bounds. Pulled a little bit of a Scott Sterling move.
Oh, so we're bringing up Scott Sterling? I remember that one. Meanwhile, checking in to serve is McConaughey for the Vikings. As a Cleveland State coach, I was looking at him. He's nothing but, I need to figure out a way to get some points here. Meanwhile, a service ace for McConaughey.
20-10, Falcons still leading here. And they are also up in the match, up 1-0 as the judge gets a little bit of a ball to one of their players. Audrey McConaughey up and over, dug out by Walls. Up to Marciniak. Indrova! Again, another kill by Petra Indrova. Just grazing off of Audrey McConaughey. 21-10, Falcons, 4 points to another victory.
Double-digit kills for Indrova in 12 attempts.
Up and over by Walls, dug out by DeGeorge, set. Oh, just off of Indrova's hands as the Falcons just played that off. And it's going to be point Vikings as it went just out of bounds, out of reach of Walls. But going back to that, it looked to just bounce right off of Indrova, right back to the Vikings, and they didn't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Back to serve is Julia Piccolino, the freshman.
I know how to make you laugh.
Up and over. Dug out by Walls. Up by Marciniak. Kill attempt by Askin. Not successful. Set by Marciniak. Askin again. Called off by Tout. Deception move. Marciniak to Indrova. Dug out by McConaughey. Trinity Hall just sends it over. Dug out by Indrova. Sent over by Askin. Right off the hands of Lindsey Tout. Great job there by the Falcons and Jacqueline Askin, putting it exactly where the libero of the Vikings could not reach it. 20-11, Falcons.
If I'm Cleveland State, I'm like, oh, where's Petra? Where'd she go?
Petra's back there serving up and over, dug out by the Vikings. The George's kill is unsuccessful, but they're going to rule a violation. 22-12 as they are back within 10. Falcons are still up, though. No timeouts, though, for Cleveland State. Coach Tomich of the Falcons still has her two, and the Falcons are up 1-0. Back there to serve is number 3, Hallie Schoen, the junior, for the Vikings. Up and over, dug out by Walls. Set by Marciniak over to Kidwell, just tips it over. And they're going to rule that she stepped over the line, I believe.
Yeah, she touched the net on Katie Kidwell, touched the net. That's 2 straight points. Kidwell's touched the net.
Just a couple errors there for the Falcons, who are still up 22-13, as the Vikings look to make it a little more respectable. Up and over, Walls dug out. Saved by Marciniak, over by Askin, blocked by Askin, sent over. Kidwell just sends it over, resetting. Dug out by Walls as she stopped a great attempt by Hannah Green. Hannah Green again tries to just send it over, but unfortunately that hits the net being a big factor in this set, Chip.
The net's not on Cleveland State's side right now. It hasn't been the whole game.
Absolutely. Out's going to check Icabelli. Coming in looks to be Meyer. Back there to serve is Jacqueline Askin, number 18. Up, over. Dug out by the Vikings, set up by Grekel. Kill attempt. Another one just seems to go right off of either the arm of a Bowling Green player. Askin's going to check out. Haberlin's going to come on in. 23-14 Bowling Green.
On the side out.
Back there to serve is Christina Grekel for the Vikings. Grekel up, over, dug out by Androva. Kidwell keeps it alive, and Marciniak just sends it over for a free ball. Kill attempt again there. It's going to get over the net, but not on the right side of those poles. It's going to be out of bounds, 23-15 Bowling Green. Again, this is the final game here at the Hampton Inn Bowling Green Invitational.
Winner takes home the win of the winner takes home. I don't know if there's a trophy or something, but
dug out there by Androva, kept alive by Marciniak. Androva sends it over again. Tout digs it out. Grekel sets up for number 4, Hannah Green, who gets a kill attempt in front of the Falcons.
Falcons only lead by 7.
The other big thing with this game, it seems like it's been an only type of lead this entire game, as it's sent over by Grekel, out of bounds, and it's going to be set point here as the Falcon faithful rise to their feet. The other big thing with this, of course, as Chip mentioned, whoever wins this match right here wins the Invitational, but the Falcons are also looking to stay undefeated at home. Kidwell up, over, dug out by the Vikings. Grekel, Green is going to get that kill in, and they're going to live to see another serve. In's going to come Walls as Katie Kidwell's going to check out. You have Isabel Marciniak, Lexi Saubert. You have Meyer out there along with Walls, Taylor Haberland, and Petra Indrova for the Falcons. As back to serve is Emily DeGeorge, up and over, dug out by Haberland. Set up by Marciniak over to Meyer. Meyer's going to send it over, out of bounds. A little too much sauce on that one. It is now 24-18. A little bit of a rally here by the Vikings.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings get to the red zone, Tomic calls the timeout.
Back to serve is again DeGeorge. Up, over, dug out by Haberland, set up by Marciniak, over by Meyer again. And they're going to rule inbounds just out of reach of the diving Emily DeGeorge. The Falcons take a commanding victory here, 25-18, to take the set. 2-0 Falcons.
And with that, we're going to step aside here for a quick break. Since it is the second set, you have a 5-minute little intermission. We'll talk to you in about 3 minutes. Stay tuned. More Bowling Green Volleyball right here on YouTube.
Their serve in the basket before the ball hits the ground. The team with the most ball
And we're back here, Bill Frack Court, Stroh Center, Bowling Green, Ohio, on the campus of Bowling Green State University, as we have the Falcons and the Cleveland State Vikings. Falcons taking a commanding 2-0 lead heading into the third set. We all know we're not done yet, as Falcons proved that last year against Cleveland State, as they won 3-2 after winning sets 3, 4, and 5 to the Falcons. Coming out for the Falcons, Cleveland State not yet to be seen, which is, oh, there they are. They're coming. I was like, the buzzer's going off soon, and they're not on the court. Falcons will spot Marciniak, Kidwell, Askin, with Meyer, Sauber, and the killer Petra Indrova. And rotating in will be Walls for Kidwell, as the libero check coming in. On the court for Cleveland State, you have Hall, Grekel, Kiana Avery, Emily DeGeorge, the libero Lindsay Tout, and Aubrey McConaughey.
The two big stories for the Falcons so far in this game. First of all is the errors. The errors have just been killing these Vikings today.
They have 19 of them.
19 errors. And that's not a formula for success. The other big story for the Falcons is number 6, Petra Indrova. Just everywhere today.
And that serve by Marciniak's up. Greco with the set. Walls with the jumping save. Marciniak to Askin. Is diving stop there by DeGeorge. Greco will get it to Walls. Marciniak's going to have to set this up for Sauber in the middle. Can't get it to go. Greco on outside the Hall. Blocked at the net by Sauber. Kept alive. And it will be tipped. Walls diving stop. Marciniak push over to Meyer. Meyer's not going to get it to go. To Greco to number 16 for Cleveland State in Avery. Indrova blocked at the net. Cleveland State gets their first lead of the day. And into serve for Cleveland State is Julia Piccolino. Piccolino serves up, and it's going to get over. Meyer, Marciniak, she's going to look back to Indrova. Can't get it to go. And it's going to get to Doug in the hole, in the court, in the lines. Point Cleveland State.
You see a lot more fight out of these Vikings than we did in the first two sets. And so far, the Falcons just haven't come out with the foot on the gas, as many analysts would say.
Serves up. Walls to Sauber, to Marciniak, then to Sauber. BG gets their first point of set number 3. 2-1. Cleveland State leads. Checking in to serve on the side out is Paulina Acciabelli in for Meyer.
2-1 here for the Vikings.
And the serve's up. And it'll get over. Acciabelli to Askin. Askin's dug out. And it'll be Marciniak with a diving save. Acciabelli. And over for the free play is Askin, who can't get it over the net. 3-1 Cleveland State.
And Bowling Green's just looked a little out of sorts coming out of that little 5-minute break that you get after the second set. And the Vikings are coming out just trying to fight another set.
Hall's serve gets to Walls, to Marciniak. Indrova gets it to go for the kill. As the ball will go into broadcaster row, into media row, as what we call it. Now it's really just broadcasters and photographers. Well, yeah, that's media. Falcons serving Julia Walls on the side out. Walls gets it over to George, to Grekel. Pushed over, Marciniak. Acciabelli is going to set up for Askin. Askin's going to get it to go. Tie game, 3-3.
Askin's just trying to show that Petra Indrova is not the only person who can throw down those hammers, as she hammers one home herself.
Askin with her 5th kill, still 3rd on the team. Meyer with 6, and Indrova leading the way with 11. And blocked the net by Kidwell and Askin. Marciniak over to the killer Indrova, so he'll get it to go.
Tipped on that one. Indrova is just showing off her dominance today. These Vikings have had no answer for number 6.
Petra Indrova, is that? Yeah, I should have figured that's who you were talking about. And meanwhile, Walls with serve will hit the net. Service error on Julia Walls. 4-4 tie game in the third set. Falcons and Vikings. Winner again. The winner will take home the first place in the tournament. And that serves up. Akibeli, dig it out. Marciniak over to Indrova. What? Hey, take a guess what happened. She got it to go.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't quite see just how fast that ball went into the ground.
Petra Indrova picking up her 13th kill. Only on 2 airs, 13 total attacks. Indrova's serve. Greco to set it up for McGregor, or McGord, yeah, DeGeorge. And it's going to be kept alive by Cleveland State. Akibeli, Marciniak, over to Kitty Kidwell with the kill. Falcons 6-4 lead. 4 straight points for the Falcons.
Getting back to something really quick, of the last 5 points by the Falcons, 2 of them have been by Petra Indrova.
Indrova, but now back to serve. Serves up. It's going to get dug out there by DeGeorge. Greco with the set. Back to DeGeorge. Tip to the net. Blocked by Kidwell. And Askin can't get it. Akibeli with the dig. Set. And it go right back to Askins for the kill. Jacqueline Askin. Cleveland State. I don't know what they're doing. Their coach is hanging in there. 7-4 Falcons lead here in the third set.
The Vikings came out with a little bit of an intensity for this third set, as if the Vikings lose this set, they're done. No set is guaranteed to them at this point. And so far, the Falcons just were like, okay, our turn.
Petra Indrova to serve. Gets it up, and it'll be set, and it'll be kill by Hannah Green. Her 9th kill compared to her 6 errors, though. Not a good game for Hannah Green.
No,
but she gets that one to go.
Isn't. But you got to admire the coaching staff of this Vikings team showing no quit.
DeGeorge serve. It's going to get up. Indrova dig. Marciniak set over to Askin on the far end. Nothing but Cleveland State hands and off to the back. Falcons point. 8-5 Falcons.
Quite a bit of velocity coming off of some of these hits by the Falcon players, as it's almost as if a blink of an eye and you miss where the ball's going.
Meyer checking in for Akibeli. Askin to serve. Askin serves really nice, and it's going to go outside. It's going to get pushed. Walls save. Indrova. It's going to be sent over for free play by Marciniak. DeGeorge to Greco. Middle block. Middle hitter in Green gets it to go. Double-digit kills now for Hannah Green. That's her 10th.
And she's also going to check out in favor of Trinity Hall. So interesting move there by the Vikings, taking out Hannah Green.
And let's go Falcons chant coming on as the serve's off. Right to Julia Walls. Get to Marciniak to Meyer for the kill. Can't get it to go. Greco set him up. Indrova, nice dig out there. Marciniak back to Meyer, blocked the net, and it's going to be a Cleveland State point. They're back within 1.
Wells went to go try to chase that one, just a little bit out of her reach, just a little.
Haberlin with that poor dig attempt there. Good kill there by the Cleveland State Vikings. And serves over. Indrova. Marciniak to Kidwell off the hands of the block. Back to the Cleveland State bench. Point Falcons. Sauber and Shaw will check in for Kidwell and Walls to check out for the libero. Kirsty Shaw to serve on the side out.
Christina Greco on that dig attempt just looked like she was trying to catch the ball and just went out of play. And a little bit of maintenance on the court, a little bit of sweat on the floor, but they'll clean it up.
And Shaw to serve. Shaw, 3 digs. Walls now up to 20 digs. Marciniak in double-double with 24 assists and 12 digs. Shaw's serve. Gets up. Greco to set. To Hall in the middle. And it'll land inbounds. Back in comes Kidwell for Shaw. And Kidwell will check out for Walls after she comes in on the side out.
Kirsty Shaw also checking out in favor of Lexi Sauber.
Oh, that's what I missed. And that serves off by McConaughey. Marciniak to Meyer. Out.
Tie
and
game
Cleveland State ties it up at 9. Falcons only 1 service ace in the game so far. Cleveland State's 5.
We've seen a couple tie scores here in this match against the Vikings and Falcons, but once the Falcons start running away, there's no catching them.
Haberlin, Marciniak, Meyer dug right back. Greco, a deception move, diving stop by Haberlin. Back to Meyer, tip to the net, blocked, sent right back over, and it's going to be set up, and it's going to be sent to Petra Indrova, blocked at the net. And it'll be Hall way out as Walls had to duck. Her 5'2" frame even ducked, and Falcons get the point. They gave the point to Cleveland State, actually, for the tip. So it's 10-9 Cleveland State.
It looked like Walls had gotten out of the way, doing a little bit of a somersault, but they gave the point to Cleveland State, and no challenge by Coach Tomich.
Serve by Cleveland State. Haberlin, Marciniak, Sauber wants it. She's going to get it, and it's going to be dug out there by DeGeorge. To Greco. Tipped over. It'll be set, and it's going to be go back to Meyer. Tipped, saved, kept alive. Walls gets it over for the free play. Greco back to Avery, and it's going to go wide. Falcons point. Tie game at 10.
This is the closest game that we've seen here today, Chip.
Closest set.
Well, yeah.
Marciniak back to serve for the Falcons. Serves up, and it's going to go out. And service error on Izzy Marciniak. Falcons trail by 1 to the Vikings in the third set. Falcons up 2-0 in sets. And serves up. It's going to be short. Off the net, though. Gets over. Marciniak over to Indrova for the power kill. Can't get it to go. And it'll be tipped. Marciniak dig. Walls set. And they're going for the power arm again, and they're going to get it in on the corner. Petra Indrova as the ball was in.
Wow, you're just such a funny guy. Great pun there, Chip. Great pun.
Paulina Acabelli checking in to serve on the side out. And serves up. Greco over to George. Marciniak over to Indrova, blocked the net, and it's going to get a block there by Cleveland State's going to get the point. That's, I believe, an attack error on Petra Indrova, whose hitting percentage is now down to 545, which is still astonishingly amazing.
It's awesome for a freshman as well.
Hall serves. Marciniak to Askin, tip to the net, blocked, and kept alive. Sent over for a free play for the Falcons. Walls sets it up Askin. Askin's got the attempt, and she's not going to get it to get down. Hall back to DeGeorge, tip to the net. Askin, Marciniak to the killer. Petra Indrova tips it, and it's going to get down. Falcons tie it back up at 12.
That's a new nickname there for Petra Indrova, the killer, but she just continues to rack up the kills here in this game.
Petra Indrova now with 14 kills. Walls back to serve. Walls serves going to go, and that ball was going to go out, but it's kept in, and it's going to be tipped to the net. Blocked. Walls dug. Marciniak set over to Askin for the kill. Can't get it to go, and it's going to be tipped over. Marciniak lets it, touches it even though it's going out. Over to Meyer Askin for the kill. Greco to DeGeorge, and it's going to go out. Falcons point. Falcons take the lead back 13-12.
It looked like it almost was on the line, but I guess it was just out of bounds from where Chip and I can see from Media Row.
Walls to serve. Walls serve's going to get low to DeGeorge. Greco on the outside. It's going to get rolled on the net. It was kept alive. Askin for the kill attempt. Can't get it. It'll be Falcons get the point on the net violation. And BG up 14-12. Timeout, Cleveland State.
14-12. This has been the closest of all three sets that have been played so far. The Falcons are looking to keep this game right in their grasp and keep the Vikings from even seeing a win on a set.
I'm just listening to the crowd. BGSU, I think that's the chant that the Falcons want to hear too. They want the fans to be in the action, not quiet. Trailing. Falcons doing a really good job of getting ahead early it's all about your starts, not about it's about how you finish, but it's also how you start, and the Falcons are doing a good job of getting that done.
I like to compare the game of volleyball a lot to a race. And it's all about, in a race, it's all about the stamina. How long can you keep going? You're going to get tired. You're going to get winded. You'll get a little bit of dehydration. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. How long can you endure? And these Vikings are looking to try to stay in it, but they've taken a lot of punches here in this game. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can weather this storm. And so far, these Falcons aren't slowing up at all.
No, they are not. And reset the floor for the Falcons. Walls, Acabelli, Indrova, Marciniak, Askin, and Kidwell. Reset the floor for Cleveland State. Hannah Green, Christina Grekel, Emily DeGeorge, Lindsay Tout, Aubrey McConaughey, and Julia Piccolino, the freshman, the 5'9" freshman out of North Versailles, Pennsylvania. Walls serve. Set up by Grekel. Over to Hall, and it's going to land down the ground. 14-13, Cleveland State trails by 1.
Just in front of Julia Walls. She went to go and dig that one out, but it was already on the ground before she could even try.
Walls, Marciniak to Indrova. Tip, and they're going to get it. Indrova, the whole backside of Cleveland State backs up for Petra, but she tips it, so you don't know which one, how she's going to go. She either tips it or she's really good at reading the vision there.
Absolutely. Great vision there by the freshman.
Falcons up by 2, 10 more points, and they got a match. Indrova's serve, dug out, set, and it's going to go over for the middle block, and it's going to get down. Hannah Green starting to turn things around here. 12th kill on the afternoon.
15-14. Cleveland State is making this one a game.
Serving for Cleveland State, Emily DeGeorge. DeGeorge serve. Walls dug. Marciniak, deception move. Gets it up. And it's going to be Hannah Green for the kill. Right to Julia Walls. Marciniak over to Jacqueline Askin. Tipped at the net. Gets over, though. And it's going to be blocked to the net. Tipped. Acabelli tries to keep it alive, but can't. 15 all here at the Stroh Center on Bill Friack Court.
Yet another tie up here. Going into this set, there were 5 total tie scores throughout this game. And so far, the Falcons are just looking to keep this one in reach.
And Indrova dig. Marciniak is going to look back to Kidwell on the slide. It's going to get right over, and it's going to be in on an accidental dig over, as that was real close.
But no challenge by Coach Tomich. Coach Tomich has not used the challenge today, or at least in this game.
That was definitely a challengeable play. I don't think the Falcons just want to get going here. Indrova, Marciniak to Askin, free play. And it'll be blocked, hits the net. And Acabelli over to Askin for the tip. Can't get it to go. And it's going to get to Bloomer. Indrova dig. Marciniak set. Kidwell calling for it. Askin is going to accidentally send it over. Joust at the net. Marciniak can't get it as the much taller Hannah Green, the 6'1" junior, gets it. Timeout Falcons. The first Falcon timeout you've seen tonight.
And if I'm Coach Tomich over there, I'm just questioning what's going on out there. Are you guys a little tired? Are you letting Cleveland State feel a little more confident? Either way, it's not something you want to see. This is much different than the first 2 sets that we've seen today, where so far the Falcons just, the first set 25-21, the second set 25-18. Cleveland State's not going down without a fight, and they're showing that right here.
I would agree with that. Again, Cleveland State lost the first 2 sets. The first set they lost 25-21, and then Bowling Green came out and clobbered them in set 2, 25-18. Cleveland State again coming in 2-3 on the season. Bowling Green 3-2, looking to move up into 3-0 territory at home here at Bill Friack Court at the Stroh Center. Julia Walls really kind of one of those surprises. Well, not really a surprise, but you expect she's getting a lot of attention. She's not getting as much attention as she should be. Of course, following in the heels of Callie Simon, last year's libero for the Falcons, led the NCAA in digs and digs per set. Walls has a lot to look up to, and to try to get Bowling Green back up to that level that they're known for their defensive play.
Absolutely. She's got big shoes to fill, but that should not in any way undermine the talent that she has. Julia Walls, a great player out there, a great leader on this squad.
Meanwhile, Cleveland State serve. Walls the dig. Set Marciniak. It's going to set up. I believe that's Askin on the far end. They're going to get the point. Falcons within one, 17-15. And checking in is Caitlin Meyer for Acabelli as Askin will go back to serve and serve in the back line with Walls and Indrova, with Marciniak, Kidwell, and Meyer up front. And that serve's going to get up. Greco to set. Right to Green. Blocked to the net. Katie Kidwell. Kidwell and Marciniak combined for the block. We're tied at 17.
And there's that defense. For most of this game, it's been a lot of the offense and a lot about the kills that have been the story. But no, for once, it's the blocks and the defense.
Askin serve. It's going to hit the net. They're going to call a net violation on the Falcons. Cleveland State gets the point. Tomic gets up quickly and is going to challenge this.
First challenge by Coach Tomic over there as the Falcons and mainly Katie Kidwell looked around. She's like, did you touch it?
I didn't. I can't touch the net from here.
I'd assume we couldn't touch the net over here. Not only do we have to jump over the little hump in front of us, but we got to get on the court, and that's probably not something that's encouraged.
As I love it when the referee goes for replay, you got all the fans sitting behind the scorer's table looking at the monitor. But they're all looking very closely and intently as I'm staring right at them. I personally know one of the replay attendants. He's a friend of mine. He's just sitting there, and they've quick decision, and it's going to be point awarded to Cleveland State as Tomic loses the challenge, and she wants to talk to. As Kidwell still is very confused about when she touched the net. But meanwhile, Cleveland State up by 1, 18-17. DeGeorge to serve. Haberland will come in for Askin on the side out.
And that challenge is also very important as it's a momentum thing as well. If Bowling Green wins that, suddenly it is 18-17 BG instead of 18-17 Cleveland State. Cleveland State is not guaranteed a fourth set unless they win this set here.
Yes. And it'll be the libero in Tout to serve. She gets it over, out. Falcons get the point, tie it up at 18.
And so far, the Falcons are just trying to stay with Cleveland State here. Cleveland State has come out with a lot of ferocity, but Bowling Green is looking to match it as Kirsty Shaw is back to serve.
Shaw back to serve. Walls all happy on the bench with her team's performance. Shaw serve, gets up. Greco the set over to Avery. Shaw diving dig. Marciniak to Meyer, blocked to the net. Right there is Shaw, who's having a good point. Meyer, kill attempt, gets tipped to the net, blocked. Greco sets it, and it'll be out, and Shaw, 2 good dig attempts, can't get the third one to go. Falcons trailing by 1 again. Sauber checked into the game last point, so does Walls. Checking out is Shaw and Kidwell for Haberland and Drova. Walls in the back end. Meyer, Marciniak, and Sauber up front. To serve is McConaughey. Aubrey McConaughey for Cleveland State. Androva. Marciniak to Sauber. Can't get it to go. Greco to Avery. Avery blocked the net. And 2 Cleveland State players fell down. McConaughey gets it over. Walls. Sauber wants it. Reception move. Read really well by Trinity Hall. And Cleveland State's in the red zone 2018. They lead by 2.
It's going to be interesting to see if Coach Tomic elects to use that second timeout anytime soon. I think if it gets to about a 3-point game, if Cleveland State scores here, you'll see that timeout.
Walls dig. Marciniak set. Sauber wants it, but it's going to go to Meyer. Meyer can't get it to go. Diving dig there by DeGeorge. Haberland keeps it alive. Marciniak. Walls has to get it over. She does for the free play. Gregor to Hall. Hall's going to go too far. Falcons within 1. 20-19. Back to serve is Marciniak, the senior captain for the Falcons.
She's the leader of this squad, trying to get this group back. And Cleveland State's going to go ahead and take a challenge. They thought that ball was in.
It's definitely a play worth challenging, even though if it's close, use this as like a timeout. You treat it as a timeout, and it's possibly a two-point swing. They could be up by 3 instead of up by 1.
And it's all about momentum, especially with this right now. Bowling Green came into this third set with a lot of momentum. But what a lot of teams do if they're down 2-0, they come into that third set saying, look, we just don't want to be shut out.
Yeah, the Falcons hitting 9 errors combined in the first 2 sets, 7 errors in this third set. Cleveland State, 11 errors in the first set, 8 errors in the second set, only 4 in this set. Cleveland State's definitely found their rhythm here. The question is, can the Falcons come back and hold on to get the win and move to 3-0?
And this gets back to the whole analogy of sprint versus marathon.
And BG gets the point as challenge stands. So it'll be Marciniak to serve. Falcons trail by 1. Cleveland State's in the red zone. Falcons 1 point away from the red zone. And Falcon faithful trying to get the Falcons to 6 points before Cleveland State can get 4. Set over Hall. It gets down through the block of Sauber and Meyer. Cleveland State up by 2.
But getting back to it, with a sprint, you're just trying to get as far as you can, as fast as you can, and maybe that's what the Vikings are trying to do to avoid being shut out, which would not result in a good 4th set outcome.
Walls, Marciniak to Meyer on the near side. She gets it to go. That's the first time I've seen Caitlin Meyer on the near side. Normally you see her on the far side of media row. Falcons trail by 1. Both teams in the red zone. Akabeli checks in on the side out to serve, and so does Jacqueline Askin for Meyer and Haberland. Androva 16 for 25. Meyer for 7 for 27. Askin 9 for 43. Walls with 22 digs. Marciniak 28 assists, 15 digs. And Walls, nice dig there. Marciniak's going to find, looks like Askin for the tip, and it's going to get down. Falcons tie the game at 21.
This game is not over yet, Chip. It's first to 25, not first to 22. These Falcons are not done yet. These Vikings, though, are playing for their lives here in this tournament.
Timeout taken by Cleveland State. That's a smart timeout by their coach. However, this would be their last timeout of the set. So if this goes into extras, you can't call your timeout. You're done. You're out of timeouts.
At the same time, though, as you mentioned with challenges, you can use those challenges as a timeout, which was actually pretty big with that last challenge. Saving that last timeout till now, but they still have their challenges if they need them.
Yeah, meanwhile, let's take a quick look at some stats here. Like I mentioned, Androva 16 for 25, hitting 520. Caitlin Meyer 7 for 27, 5 attack errors, though, only hitting 0.74. Askin hitting 159 with 10 kills, 44 total attacks, most on either side of the match so far. Marciniak and Walls in double-digit digs. Walls with 23, Marciniak with 15. McConaughey leads the way for digs with 16. Right behind her is DeGeorge with 14 and Tout with 15. The libero and Tout has no attacks, no assists yet either. Grekel and Jorn, the only players with assists for the Vikings. Grekel with 24. Jorn, the senior, the backup setter, with 7. Into serve now is Paulina Akibeli as the teams come back on the court. Marciniak, Walls, and Akibeli in the back end. With the killer Androva, Sauber, and Askin up front. And that ball's going to get down. It's going to be sent over. Sauber's going to try to kill it. She can't get it. And it's going to be a nice backhand move by Grekel. By Christina Grekel, gets the Cleveland State Vikings up 1. As she, no look, put it over the net. Surprised all the Falcons. Hall's serve, going to go out. Oh, they're going to say it was in. As I wouldn't be surprised if Tomic gets up and challenges it, and she will. Tomic will challenge this again. As that did look out to me.
And again, it's all the momentum swing. It can go from being a 23-21 game to it being tied up at 22.
This is probably the biggest challenge of the game so far.
I would probably have to agree with you. But the biggest story of the game is the errors. The errors have just decimated the Vikings today, benefiting the Falcons. And I think the reason that the Vikings are in this game even right now is the fact that they haven't committed many errors during this set.
Yeah, they've only committed 4 errors. The Falcons are not hitting. They're hitting a little better, the Cleveland State, but Falcons are not hitting as well as they did in the second set. They're hitting 176 this set. Second set, they hit 244. Only one service ace on the afternoon for the Falcons, and that was in like the first couple points by Acciabelli. And the referee's going to give the point. He almost said Bowling Green. He signaled, and he got the crowd's hopes up, and then Cleveland State's going to ultimately get the point. 23-21, Cleveland State leads. Falcons need 3 straight points.
Big serve here for Trinity Hall, the senior of Cleveland State. She makes this serve count, and suddenly it's set point Vikings.
Falcons really want a couple points here. Hall serves, Walls, Marciniak to Indrova. Can't get it to go. I think they're just going to try to get to Indrova. Blocked, and it's going to land down. Set point for Cleveland State, and Trinity Hall to serve. If I'm the Falcons, I just go to the person that you know can get you done.
And the Cleveland State fans looking a little bit more energized.
Walls, Marciniak is going to hit Indrova. Can't get it to go. A little poor set there by Marciniak. And DeGeorge blocked to the net by Indrova and Sauber, the freshman. It'll be tipped. Walls diving dig. It may be too far, and it is too far. And Marciniak ran into the referee's scoring table. 2-1 in sets as Cleveland State picks up the set victory.
And avoids the sweep ultimately. It's all right, though. Bowling Green is still all fired up. Isabel Marciniak, the senior captain of this team, is just over there telling her entire team, just, we're still in this. We're still good. And now there is a guaranteed 4th set.
And that you're going to call after this break. You're listening to Bowling Green Volleyball right here on YouTube, presented by WBGU-TV and the audio courtesy of BGSU.
And welcome back here to the Stroh Center on the campus of Bowling Green State University. Zach Smith joined alongside Chip Crennan, giving you the call of the Bowling Green volleyball team. They are up 2-1 here against the Cleveland State Vikings in the final game of the Hampton Inn Bowling Green Invitational. These Falcons have looked great, led by the freshman, number 6, Petra Indrova. But, of course, the biggest story here has been the errors. The Vikings have committed 23 total attack errors to the Bowling Green 16, and the reason they did so well, Chip, in that 3rd set was the lack of errors.
And they're getting some new faces coming for the Falcons, not for the freshmen. Nicola Katanic is going to see her first appearance. Nicolia Katanic will see her first appearance in today's game as a middle blocker. Normally where you see Lexi Sauber or Kidwell giving them a rest. You got Meyer, Marciniak, Walls, Askin, and none other than Petra Indrova.
Oh, yeah, Petra Indrova has just been doing amazing today.
16 for 27 this game.
The Vikings are going to go ahead and meet a little bit just before they get the start. They will be serving. Out there is Audrey McConaughey, who will be serving. You have the libero, Lindsay Tout. You have number 16, Kiana Avery, the freshman, joined by Trinity Hall, Christina Grekel, and Emily DeGeorge.
And
also joined.
Go ahead.
And this is playing for their lives. There is no guaranteed set after this, as the set up and over, dug out by Meyer to Marciniak. Petra Indrova with the kill, dug out by DeGeorge. Set by Grekel is going to be out of bounds. Falcons will take the first point here of set number 4.
4% there, 96% to go.
Oh, absolutely. All that math, not something I can do on the fly there, Chip.
You just put the 100 divided by 25. Yeah.
Back there, Acciabelli in for Meyer, up and over. Dug out by DeGeorge, up by Grekel. Served by Hall, dug out by Walls. Kill attempt by Androva is dug out by DeGeorge. She's had a couple of those today. Kill attempt is unsuccessful, dug out by Walls, up by Isabel Marciniak, down to Askin, dug out by DeGeorge yet again. Blocked at the net. Petra Androva and Nikolia Katanic putting up that block. And you see that great intensity out of Petra Androva. 2-0 Falcons as Aikabelli is back again to serve. Up, over, dug out by the Vikings, put up by Greco. Kill attempt, dug out by Walls, up by Marciniak. Askin's gonna get an attempt just off the hands of number 6, Christina Greco of the Vikings. Point Falcons, 3-0.
This is what you want to see. This is kind of what I'm seeing in the first set. Question is, if the Falcons get another point, do you see another timeout taken by Cleveland State?
Aikabelli up and over, dug out by the Vikings. Kill attempt by Kiana Avery is dug out by Paulina Aikabelli. Askin, nice little tip, saved by the Vikings for the moment, but out of bounds. As you mentioned, during that first set, it was a 4-0 lead by the Falcons, and we saw the timeout, and we see another one here, 4-0 lead by the Falcons, timeout Vikings.
No comment. I just think the Falcons are finding a way to get it done. What I'm confused about, for the first point of this set, Petra Androva was on the near side of us. Then the second point, she swapped sides. So you see Petra Androva, she's a dual threat. She's a triple threat, actually, because she's gotten some points in the back row in this game. So you got to be careful. Wherever Petra Androva is, you got to watch out. She's got an arm. She knows what she's doing. She's 16 for 30. More than half of her attempts have been kills.
And as much as it's been that velocity and that power that Petra Androva brings to this team that's been getting kills, she's shown her softer side. A couple of those nice little tips over the net as Cleveland State has gotten so used to, oh my, she's got some power, we need to back up to be able to dig those out. Then suddenly it's, oh crud, now there's a ball right in front of us that we can't get to. So it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments the head coach of Cleveland State can make. Back there to serve again is Paulina Aikabelli. She's still joined by Marciniak, Walls, Petra Androva, Nikolia Katanic, and Jacqueline Askin.
Aikabelli to serve.
Paulina Aikabelli is back there to serve. Up, over, dug out by Audrey McConaughey. Kill attempt is successful as it gets just in front of Aikabelli. And out of the timeout, 4-1, Bowling Green. Nothing there to be disappointed about as Bowling Green has been nothing but on top this entire match, except for that third set where it looked like Cleveland State just was looking to not get shut out. Back there to serve, Julia Piccolini, up and over, just bounces wrongly off of Nikolia Katanic's hand and just falls to the floor. Perhaps there's a little bit of rust on her end as she is seeing her first action of the game. Back there to serve is Piccolino, the freshman, up and over. Dug out by Walls, over Askin. Tipped is dug out by Hall. DeGeorge is going to send it over for a free play. Dug out by Walls. Askin's going to try again. Dug out by McConaughey, over by DeGeorge again. Dug out by Walls. Up by Marciniak. Strike by Askin. Sent over by DeGeorge. Dug out again by Walls. A little bit of a game of catch. Nikolia Katanic's kill is successful almost. Walls just sends it over to Askin, and they're going to rule that it was out. It is 4-3 Bowling Green as Cleveland State has gone on a little bit of a run. Piccolino is back there to serve yet again for the Cleveland State Vikings, who are down 2-1 in this invitational. Up and over. Dug out by Walls, up by Marciniak. Kill by Androva, dug out by Tout. Up and over by DeGeorge. Dug out by Aikabelli, up by Marciniak. Again, the power just gets off of Piccolino and sails out of here. That looked like a home run type ball by Petra Androva.
Yeah, coming in is Katie Kidwell to replace Nikola Katanic for the Falcons.
Up and over by Walls, right to left on your dial. And the kill attempt is successful by the senior Trinity Hall as it gets just in front of Isabel Marciniak, senior to senior. And the Falcons will reset over by Hall. Gonna get right over the net. Icabelli saves it and just sent over by Askin. Set up over to DeGeorge. Dug out by Marciniak. Set up by Walls to Askin.
Askin put some umph in that one.
Kept alive by McConaughey. Androva just sets it up. Marciniak Askin tries again and gets that kill right in front of the freshman Audrey McConaughey. Jacqueline Askin throws a little bit of her power as well. Petra Androva back there to serve, the freshman from the Czech Republic. Sends it up and over. Dug out there by Tout, set up by Grekel, and DeGeorge is going to try to keep that one alive. Walls digs it out, but unsuccessfully, as the kill is going to go to Emily DeGeorge, the junior.
Falcons up by 1, 6-5.
Back to serve is Christina Grekel, the sophomore setter. Up and over. Dug out by Walls, the libero, and that's another unsuccessful dig, as it is all tied up here for the Falcons and Vikings at 6. Back there to serve again is Grekel. Up, over, dug out by Walls, set up by Marciniak. Askin the kill, just gets off the hands of Julia Piccolino. And you saw just did I really just hit that ball by Piccolino? Point Falcons.
Yeah, Caitlin Meyer checking in. Falcons are known to have strong arms with Askin, Meyer, Androva, Kidwell.
Over by Askin, dug out by Piccolino. Grekel, DeGeorge, soft touch. Just in front of Meyer, as maybe she thought Androva was going to dive for it. A little bit of miscommunication, and Askin's going to check out in favor of Taylor Haberlin. As they await approval. Also checking out on the Cleveland State sideline is number 7, Julia Piccolino. Give her a little bit of a break in favor of Kiana Avery. She's going to check in.
Yeah, Kiana Avery did get the start, the 5'11 freshman from Dover, Ohio.
Emily DeGeorge back to serve, up and over, and dug out by Androva, set up by Marciniak. Androva with a kill, dug out by DeGeorge. Soft touch dug out by Walls, kept alive by Marciniak, and Haberlin's going to send it over just to keep the ball alive. Grekel keeps it alive, dug out by Androva. Meyer gets a little bit of a kill, dug out. Bodies all over the place by Cleveland State, and it's going to pay off as number 15, Peyton Bloomer, the freshman, just sends it over just in front of Taylor Haberlin, and Cleveland State's going to take their first lead of this set.
8-7 they lead.
Back to serve again is Emily DeGeorge. Looking on is the Falcons, ready to go. Up, over, dug out by Androva, set up by Meyer, and Meyer's just going to get it over. Sorry, it was dug out by Katie Kidwell, blocked at the net by Meyer and Kidwell, but it's going to just sail out of bounds. Point, Cleveland State 9-7 their lead, and the Falcons are going to go ahead and take a timeout as Coach Tomich takes the early timeout as Cleveland State is up 9-7.
Yeah, before Tomich took the timeout, she looked at her bench, kind of had a feeling for the morale, needed a timeout, and then she called it. She maybe was either looking for, okay, who can I get in to change some momentum, shake things up a bit, and no one was really looking at her, wanted to, I don't know, but she ended up just calling the timeout, reset. Falcons trail by 2, still in this one. They lead 2-1 in the sets.
Game of adjustments this is. Coach Tomich has been making some great adjustments today, seeing her squad up 2-1 here. But the last thing you really want to see is a 5th set, as then it's the best of 15 points. So Coach Tomich is over there giving her girls just a second to breathe and relax, and reminding her that, this is our court. As much as we are not, quote-unquote, the home team, this is still our house here at the Stroh Center. And she's just got to remind them of that. And the fans here are going to remind them of that, as well as I'm sure we'll hear some BGSUs today.
Yes, we already have. Fans have kind of gotten quiet since the 3rd set on. They've just been quiet. Cleveland State, there's a little Cleveland State section, I would say. They've been pretty loud so far today.
Oh, I'd have to agree with you. Same people on the floor there, Kidwell, Marciniak, Meyer, Haberlin, Julia Walls, the libero, and Petra Androvitz for the Falcons. DeGeorge is still going to serve out there for the Vikings. She's joined by Grekel, Lindsay Tout, and I am not able to see numbers from where I'm sitting. Up and over by DeGeorge. Dug out by Meyer, set up by Marciniak. Back to Meyer. Blocked at the net, saved by Walls. And Drove's going to go ahead, try. Nice little soft touch. Greco up and over, and it's going to be out as Indrova decides not to touch it. Also out there is Peyton Bloomer for the Vikings, along with Hannah Green and number 16, Kiana Avery.
Falcons, Katana will check in. Walls checks out on the side out. Kidwell to serve.
Nicolia Katanich is getting quite a bit of action here in this third set. Kidwell up and over, dug out by DeGeorge. Up by Greco, kill attempt by number 15, Peyton Bloomer is unsuccessful as it's gonna sail out of bounds. Point BG, and we are tied yet again at 9. Katie Kidwell back yet again to serve, getting Julia Walls a little bit of a break. Kidwell, a couple bounces, up, over. Dug out by DeGeorge, set up by Greco for Green, just in front of Katie Kidwell, and Walls is gonna go ahead, check back in for Kidwell.
Give Kidwell a little breather. I think the Falcons really need to find a groove here, get a rotation and get those points back as they trail by 1.
Lindsay Tout back to serve. She's the libero. And it just did not look good by Meyer. Digs it out and sent over for a free ball. Great job by Haberlin and Meyer. Dug out by Indrova just to send it back over. Dug out. Hall is going to do it, and Indrova keeps putting in the work. And kill there by Meyer. But the big one is not only can Indrova kill, she can dig too. Great job there by Meyer and Indrova working together to get Bowling Green back on the board. 10-10, Falcons and Vikings.
That's the exact momentum that the Falcons needed right now. Marciniak back to serve.
Up, over. DeGeorge digs that one up, sent by Greco. Sent over there by number 15, Peyton Bloomer, dug out by the Falcons. Meyer sends it over, dug out by DeGeorge. Set, dug out by Haberlin, up by Marciniak, and Indrova tries again, but the net. Blocked at the net, and it's going to get right in front of Cleveland State. Point Falcons, 11-10. Back to serve yet again is Marciniak, but they're going to get a timeout called by Cleveland State. As, again, it's the best of 5 sets, so first 3 wins. As we hear these BGSU chants, as I think those Falcon faithful have gotten back into this game, Chip.
Yes, they have. I got to speak over them for a sec. Tomic still animated on the bench. She's got to do what she got to do. Falcons need 14 more points. And it's 11-10, 4th set. They need to take some breaths. Cleveland State's on their heels. Falcons need to just play their game. Play their defensive game, get those counterattacks, find Indrova, find Meyer, find Kidwell, find the person for the kill, find Askin. Askin, I haven't seen Askin in a while in this game, in this set. The Falcons are doing a really good job of hanging in there, staying with Cleveland State in these past couple sets.
So quick timeout here for Cleveland State, who called a timeout as they're already looking to come out. They have no timeouts left on the board. My question for you, Chip, is what adjustments do you think that the head coach for Cleveland State just told his players? What do you think he told them?
Play your game. Your team. Play your game. This is the last. You have a couple more days of rest before your next match. Give it all you got.
Absolutely, and it's got to be a lot of just keep your head up type things, as Bowling Green has just looked dominant here at home. Back to serve still is Marciniak, joined by Walls, Haberlin, Meyer, Indrova, and Nicolia Katanich. She will be serving from right to left, going across your radio dial. Marciniak, up and over. Her serve is dug out by DeGeorge, put up, and sent back by Hall, dug out by Walls, kept alive for the moment by Marciniak, but Katanich just couldn't get it just based off of where the ball was placed. 11-11 all.
Side out coming, and we're tied at 11, sorry. And back to serve for Cleveland State. Aubrey McConaughey, her night includes 18 digs, 1 service ace. 8 service aces for Cleveland State, only 1 for the Falcons.
Up and over, dug out by Meyer, set by Marciniak, kill by Indrova is successful.
Indrova's arm is just too strong. It just gets past the block and it goes scattered. You don't know where it's gonna go. Askin and Acabelli will check in for Meyer and Haberlin. Of course, if I'm the Falcons, I don't take Petra Indrova out of this game. she's your go-to person right now. She's always clutch. She does what she needs to do.
Speaking of coming out of the game, Meyer and Haberlin are going to come out as Ikabelli up and over, dug out by Askin, who also checks back in. And Androva kills again and just dug out by DeGeorge. Tipped at the net. Marciniak Androva again. Blocked at the net. Set up, and Androva's not going to get a third try. Askin's going to get that one. Dug out there by Ikabelli. Androva again. Blocked at the net, but right down. Petra Androva cannot be stopped tonight.
Really good job of Petra Androva to not touch the net either. As she got in, Falcons up by 2. No timeouts left for Cleveland State. And he goes to the Cleveland State coach, goes to talk to the bench, get them fired up, maybe get their players fired up.
That Let's Go Falcons chant soaring high here as Ikabelli serve is up and over. Hall's going to try to answer. Ikabelli just saves it, but it can't be saved entirely as Walls just could not catch that one. 13-12 Bowling Green. Back to serve is going to be Julia Piccolino, who we saw struggle just a little bit to open up this set, but they have faith in her as she's going to check in for Kiana Avery. Piccolino up, over. Dug out by Walls. Set. Petra Androva again! Lindsay Tout could not get that one. It's just unbelievable. She is just playing lights out right now.
No comment. It's Petra Androva time.
Nikolia Katanich is going to go ahead and check out in favor of Katie Kidwell. Walls serve up and over, just dug out by the Vikings. Blocked at the net! Askin and Katie Kidwell showing why they deserve a little bit of time out here as they just continue. These Falcons are soaring high. No answer by the Vikings.
3-point lead for the Falcons. Walls to serve.
Up and over, dug out by Piccolino. DeGeorge is going to try, blocked at the net by Kidwell. Kept alive by the Vikings. DeGeorge tries again. Dug out by Askin. Set by Marciniak. Androva! And that's going to sail out of bounds as number 6, Christina Grekel, ran into the stand over here by Meteor Row, a little far away from us over here at BGU, or BGRSO, excuse me. A little bit of a tongue twister. Point Falcon 16-12. Wall serve up, over. Dug out by Piccolino. Set. Hall's going to try, gets just in front of Isabel Marciniak. Point Cleveland State.
16-13. Falcons still up by 3. Less than 10 points needed for the Falcons.
The libero Lindsay Tout's going to go ahead and check out as Hall's going to serve it up and over. Just a bad dig there by the Falcons. But in this set, there's not been a lot of bad things being said by us towards the Falcons. They've looked great. Back there is Trinity Hall, serves up and over. Dug out by Ikabelli, set by Marciniak. Androva again. Blocked at the net, saved by Walls. Marciniak again. Askin's going to go ahead, try. Dug out by Audrey McConaughey. That's going to be killed successfully just in bounds. 16-15, Bowling Green's lead. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another point or two get on the board by the Vikings. The last time out on this board will be taken by Tomic.
If she wants to take it.
Up and over. Katie Kidwell, soft touch. Just kept alive. Dug out by Walls, up by Marciniak. Kidwell tries again. Trinity Hall, that was a reflex, just not my face, and sails out of bounds. 17-15, 2-point lead for the Falcons.
Falcons finding a way to get points here and there. If they can alternate points with Cleveland State, that's fine, because they have a 2-point lead.
Petra Androva back to serve, up and over. Dug out by DeGeorge, set up by Grekel. Kill attempt by Green is too strong. Just out of bounds, 18-15 as Bowling Green inches closer and closer to the red zone.
18-18, 2 more.
Out there is still Androva. She's waiting, get that sweat wiped off the floor on the Cleveland State side. Androva looking on.
Something the Falcons don't do is they don't wipe off the sweat.
Up and over. Dug out by DeGeorge. Grekel sets it up. DeGeorge gonna kill again. Dug out by Ikabelli, set up by Marciniak. Askin with the kill, just in front of Lindsay Tout. There is just no response to the relentless attack from Bowling Green. 19-15 Falcons here in the 4th set, and potentially the last set of the Hampton and Bowling Green Invitational.
Yes.
Up and over by Androva, dug out by Piccolino, into the net. not even needing it.
Blue and what color makes purple?
I'd probably say a little bit of red, I think.
There we go. We're in the red zone here for the Falcons.
I see what you did there, Chip. 2015, Indrova up, over, dug out by Piccolino, set. Kill is blocked again! Askin and Kidwell just continue the relentlessness on the net. Just no way for Cleveland State to get anything going. 21-15. Cleveland State cannot take any timeouts as they are out of them. Up and over by Indrova, dug out by DeGeorge. Set up by Grekel. Kill attempt is successful by Green, and that's just a much-needed point there for the Vikings as in's going to come Peyton Bloomer, the freshman, for the other freshman, Audrey McConaughey. Grekel is back there to serve as a little bit of a breather there. Just going to go ahead and take a bounce or two, sending it up and over, dug out by Walls, except it's not, as it's going to sail out of bounds. 22-16. The Falcons are within 3 points of staying undefeated here at the Stro.
Yes, they are. Checking in to serve, or checking in is Caitlin Meyer. Askin to serve. Askin will be on the back line.
Up and over, dug out by Tout. Set up by Grekel. Kill attempt. Looked like it was out of bounds, but dug out by Walls. And Meyer just out of bounds. It looked close. And it's going to be point Cleveland State, as Piccolino is going to go ahead and check out, as well as number 18, Jacqueline Askin, coming out for the Falcons in favor of Taylor Haberlin.
We're back to the errors. Cleveland State has 8 attack errors in this set.
Up and over by DeGeorge, dug out by Haberlin, set up by Meyer. Kill attempt, no, just sent over for a free ball by Marciniak. Set up. And Haberlin could not dig that one out cleanly, as that's going to sail behind us here in Meteor Row. It is 22-18 Falcons, as Cleveland State's trying to weather the storm and come back in this one. Back there to serve is still Emily DeGeorge. These Falcons have looked great here in this game, so we're going to hope that they can keep it up and win. DeGeorge up and over, dug out by Walls, set up by Marciniak. Kill by Kidwells, blocked at the net, and it's going to be killed in bounds. 22-19 Falcons.
I would assume if Cleveland State gets the next point, Tomich calls a timeout. 2 points is a little close. 3 is okay. The Falcons up 22-19.
DeGeorge sends it up and over, dug out by Meyer. Set up by Marciniak. Meyer with the kill, dug out by Tout. Set up by Grekel. Kill attempt by the Vikings, dug out by Haberlin. Meyer tries again. Soft touch. Kept alive. Meyer again.
Little miscommunication there by Meyer and Kidwell.
Lindsay Tout's kill is dug out by Petra Indrovich. Meyer again. No kills going down. Dug out by Haberlin. Set up by Marciniak. Indrova's going to try. Little too much sauce on that one. 22-20 by the Falcons. Timeout by Coach Tomich.
That is Petra Indrova's only her 4th attack error in the game.
And
42 total attempts.
Speaking of errors, sorry to cut you off there, Chip. 31 total attack errors by the Cleveland State Vikings. And that's been their bugaboo here today.
Yes, it has. They had 11 errors in the first set, 8 in the second set. They won the third set where they only had 4 of them, and now they have 8 errors. Their hitting percentage is still overall below 100.1. It's at .098%, while the Falcons overall is at 203.
We are getting down here to crunch time in the Stroh Center. The Falcons are up 22-20 here in the final game of the Hampton Inn Bowling Green Invitational. Zach Smith with Chip Crennan on the call for you here at Bowling Green State University. These Falcons are so far undefeated at home and undefeated in this Invitational, as they are the host team. They are up 2-1. If Bowling Green wins, they win the Invitational. If Cleveland State wins, we will see a set 5, as Cleveland State is trying to win the Invitational as well. Coming back out onto the court is the Falcons, all smiles, as you see Katie Kidwell, Caitlin Meyer, Julia Walls, Petra Indrovich, Taylor Haberland, and the captain, Isabel Marciniak.
Something to note, like that you noted, Bowling Green came out with smiles. Cleveland State came out looking tough. They want this win. They're focused. Bowling Green that's how they stay focused, is they have fun.
Their
playing
backs
the game.
are up against the wall, these Cleveland State Vikings. DeGeorge sends it up and over, dug out by Meyer. Up by Marciniak. Down by Meyer, tipped in the net. Dug out by DeGeorge, set up by Grekel. And just sent over. Dug out by Androva. Kill by Meyer. Off the hands of Lindsey Tout. 23-20. 2 points away from a victory here.
Yeah, I'd say the only paint that I see is white and orange and maybe a little tannish from Bill Frack Court. Falcons coming in as Katanich in for Walls as Kidwell will go back to serve.
Katie Kidwell has had a couple great serves out there, and as you mentioned, giving Julia Walls, the libero, a little bit of a break. Katie Kidwell bouncing the ball a little bit as they were cleaning up sweat on the Cleveland State sideline.
And Kidwell.
Looking, spinning, ball up and over. Dug out by DeGeorge, set up, and blocked at the net. They're going to say net violation. We have match point here at the Stroh. 24-20, Bowling Green, as the Falcon faithful all are getting on their feet. You see the BGSU chants are getting sang out here. Not a single Bowling Green fan sitting down. Up and over by Kidwell, dug out by DeGeorge. Kill attempt is successful, just gets in front of Petra Androvich. Julia Walls is going to go ahead, check back in for Katie Kidwell.
On the side out.
And at this point, it has to be nothing but perfection for the Vikings. Lindsey Tout is over there to serve.
3 straight points needed.
And over, dug out by Haberlin, set up by Marciniak. Kill attempt by Meyer. Dug out by Tout, set up by Grekel. Kill attempt blocked at the net, dug out by Meyer. Haberlin calls her off. Meyer just gets it off the hands of number 15, Peyton Bloomer. Game, set, match. Falcons take it 3-1, remain undefeated at the Stroh, beating the Cleveland State Vikings.
The Falcons win it.
Nothing but dominance here tonight by these Falcons, as they did not let this game get away at all.
I think player of the game, we want to say it together? Petra Androva.
Androva, I'm sorry, Petra Androva.
Player of the game, 22 kills, only 4 errors, 43 total attempts, 14 digs, so she had a double-double. Marciniak with a double-double. Askin, 56 total attempts, only 15 kills. Petra Androva hit 419, 419. Hey, that's the area code here.
Wow.
What ironic, as the Falcons will circle up, get their Iziggy chance. But before we wrap up, let's go over a few more stats here. Really, I think, did Cleveland State lose this game or did Bowling Green win this game?
I think it was Bowling Green won this game. They came out here with the mindset of, we are going to win this game. We're going to defend the Stroh. We are going to just maintain our dominance. And they showed that as they're circling up. There's nothing but smiles in that huddle in front of us. And it just looked like a tired Cleveland State team.
Yes, it did. And with that, we're going to conclude our broadcast here. We want to thank you for tuning in. As Isaac Zumba, we want to give a special shout out to Kyle Edmond, the SID for the volleyball team here for Bowling Green State University, as well as the opposing SID for Cleveland State, Butler and Charlotte, their SID staff for getting us all their information, pronunciation, names. And this broadcast has been a presentation of Bowling Green Athletics. For more information of BG Falcon Athletics schedules, news, and other information, please visit bgsufalcons.com. This audio has been brought to you by, the audio for the YouTube video has been brought to you by the Bowling Green Radio Sports Organization. For schedule and up-to-date broadcast information, be sure to find us on Twitter and Facebook, all with the username BGRSO. Log on to our new and improved website, bgfalconmedia.com. On the BGRSO tab to find a complete broadcast schedule and programming guide, broadcast biographies, as well as news on Falcon Athletics. For my partner, Zach Smith, Chip Crennan, and all of us here at BGRSO and WBGU-TV, we thank you for tuning in forever listening. Again, final score, Falcons take it in 4 sets, 3-1. Falcons 3, Cleveland State 2, or Cleveland State 1, and the Falcons win the Invitational. Thank you, folks, and have a good rest of the day.